In this video, I'm going to use Cadline AutoConnect to configure a rule so that when files inside of Vault go to release state, I want to perform certain actions. So from the AutoConnect main app here, we can add a new rule, and I want to give this a name, so I can say release rule. I can specify the Vault lifecycle, whether it's files or items I want this action to be performed on, so I'm going to select my custom flexible release process. I can then specify the transition that I want these actions to happen on. So for this example, we're going to go from the for review state to the release state, and I can create my rule. I can then specify what I actually want to happen when this transition occurs. So first of all, what I want to happen is I want some properties to automatically be filled in inside of Vault. So from this drop down here, I can select the user defined properties from my Vault, and I'm going to say I want my engineering approved by property to be filled in with whoever has created that new version of Vault. So what we can do is we can use parameters that reference Vault system properties to fill in our user defined properties inside of Vault. So in this scenario, it's going to be the created by property inside of Vault. I also want the date to be filled in, so I've got a user property called engineering approved date, or date engineering approved, and this will reference the date version created property from Vault. So we've got some automatic property value insertion on the state change. We can also create files. So for this scenario, I'm going to create a PDF of my 2D drawings, and I also want a step file of my models, and I want to send an email notification out when the files are released. I can save the rule, and that saves the configuration away. Now what I then can do is go down and specify more granular settings for each of these individual jobs. So for file conversions, we can do things like store the files locally, we can upload them to Vault, we can add the file revision and remove original file extensions. For the email, I can specify the settings. I can do things such as attach the PDFs or filter out just for certain file extensions, and I can also build up what I want to show in the email body here. Okay, so my rule is set. I can now deploy this rule, and we get a little message box saying that all the components were deployed successfully. Okay, so from there I can fire up the Vault job processor, and currently there's no jobs in the queue, so that will idle out because there's nothing to process. If I head over to the Vault client, I've actually got these two files here at the for review state inside of Vault, and if we check the properties, so the date engineering approved is currently blank, and the engineering approved by is blank as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the state of these files to a released state, and the file gets released. What that then does is that triggers a job to be placed on the job queue, and it will go through and it will process all of our actions. Okay, so our jobs have been processed and a few things will have happened. So first of all, I've received an email as per my rule telling me to email me when drawing files are released. I've got the file properties, I've got linked to the thin client, a thumbnail, and also the PDF attachment there as well. If I give my Vault viewer a refresh, you can see it's created a step file for my assembly and a PDF for my drawing, and the relevant vault properties have been filled in. What will also happen is I specify to download my conversions to a local location, so I've got my step file here and my PDF file here, and I've appended the revision of the PDF file.